Welcome back, everyone, to Freaky Tales Podcast, episode 51. And just like I promised you guys last week when something took place and Marvelous couldn't be here, I just said we'll move it to this week. We got something special, but we also want to take a lot of phone calls. Okay, so first and foremost, I want to thank everybody on the live chat. I want to thank everybody who's commenting, positive or negative or just having fun. It doesn't matter as long as you guys are watching. Continue to hit that like button. Once again, I want to thank those that have submitted their stories. I have 2 stories that I want to share eventually throughout the show. Those of you that emailed them to me. I'm still accepting stories. I know some of you cannot get through. So 2 people this week actually emailed me 2 stories. So other than that, once again, Marvelous, thank you for being here. Episode 51. I would have loved to have you for episode 50, but it didn't happen. But you're here today.
Appreciate it. Yeah, I made it, bro. I made it this time.
I know you had a hectic day today. Tell us a little bit about your day. I know you do a lot of tattooing.
Yeah, hectic, bro. Back to back, and my tattoo sessions ended up being longer than expected. Some tattoos ended up getting changed to other ideas that they had, and I can't tell my client what to do, or I gotta make it happen, whatever they want.
Right. Okay. Well, we got some interesting things we want to share, and I want to jump right into it. There's one show that had been going on here in LA, and I had always thought that it was actually based out of Mexico, but it was actually a radio station out here in FM radio. It started in 1995, and I believe it ended in 2011. And a lot of people, since Freaky Tales has been around, have requested to do a show like that radio station. I think we kind of did something like, or are doing something like that, but the show is called La Mano Peluda, which in Spanish means the hairy hand. Most people, when they hear the hairy hand, they think of a werewolf, they think of a monster, they think of some type of beast, okay? And La Mano Peluda, pretty much what it is, okay? Let me put this back. It's a Mexican horror radio program called The Hairy Hand. It was ended after 22 years of being on air. Why I'm talking about it, because people have emailed me to request to talk about it and to have a show somewhat like it. Really what he did was he would go live, and I believe for about 3 hours, like 9 or 10 to midnight, he would just take calls. That's all he would do. He would just take calls. And this man, actually, everything was paranormal about this show, La Mano Peluda. Now, to give you a little bit of background on this radio station that this man put together, the legend of the Mano Peluda can be heard in almost every Latin American country, but it was mostly bigger in Mexico and in Colombia. Okay, but my dad even knew about this show. Now, there was cases of appearances of ghosts. People would call in and say, I saw a ghost, I saw demons, I was demon possessed, I saw goblins, enchanted objects, Christological creatures, and extraterrestrial abductions, and much more. So people would just call in. And I remember hearing a couple of them, but it was pure Spanish, where people would say that they were abducted by, aliens, they were abducted by UFOs. Other people would say that they would buy certain objects, like at at a swap meet or actually at a yard sale somewhere, bringing home, and nothing but negativity was unleashed in their home. So it was that kind of story. What made it interesting that this man who started this show was actually an investigator himself. So many times, if a story really intrigued him, he would actually investigate it himself, to see if it would be true. Now, I want to talk about a certain caller that I believe, and this one really, really intrigued me, Marvelous. They say that this is the caller that pretty much ended the entire show. Okay? And this caller called in, and he called from Mexico. Okay? So now he calls, and he started having a conversation, and this is the one that literally tripped everybody out, okay? I really don't want to give it away too fast, but let me start here. So a caller called one day, and here's what he said. I have been trying to agree with some demon for more than 5 years. He had been a Satanist, okay? His story began, my main objective was initially to make contact and reach a negotiation with Satan, or you can actually hear the audio where he said, or Lucifer, or some high-ranking demon, okay? So for 5 years, he said that he had no luck. In other words, I guess the devil wasn't really paying attention to him. So and then he said that finally one day, and keep in mind, he is on the phone telling the radio station this, okay? Yeah. And he said nothing happened until one day, se cortó las venas. He cut his veins. And he said that that's when something finally appeared. He said it was a tall man in a black hat, okay? And began to speak to him. Yeah. And he said, pretty much, what do you want? And he said that he did this because he wanted money. He just wanted to be rich.
But he was negotiating what, though? That's what the negotiation was about?
Like, I would do whatever you want. I would give you my soul. But I want to be rich.
Okay, so to cut his veins, why did he cut his veins, though?
He never explained.
An offering? All right.
Yeah, I'm assuming blood sacrifice
right.
is what triggered supposedly this evil spirit.
Yeah, he was really trying, huh?
Yeah, he was really trying, because he said for 5 years he had no luck. And for those of you that want to hear this story, DM me, and I will actually send you the actual call.
Damn.
The actual call, okay? So this is what intrigued me to share this tonight. So he goes on to say that in order for you to receive what you want, it's going to take blood sacrifice. You're going to have to kill someone. So this is where it got really interesting. And when you hear him speak, you could hear the sorrowfulness of what he was about to say. He said that in his mind, since he was living with his grandmother, and he says it in Spanish, he said, she's already lived a long life.
Oh, shit.
She lived a full life, and then he says, y la maté, and I killed her.
Damn.
And he's admitting all this on the phone. And he said, and soon after that, I started to receive $1,500 every day. Now, how he received it, he never really fully got into that. But he said every day, and then he starts to weep. And then he starts saying, but I began to use the money for good. I guess he began to bless people. I don't know if that was regret or whatnot, but he came home one day, I believe, after doing something good, and he saw a woman all dressed in white, and she was trying to kill him. Now, how he got away, I don't know. Now, this was a spirit that he saw, and he's explaining this, and the spirit actually told him something. So what happened was, he's making this call, and he's talking, okay, and he says this. While he's on the phone, that woman appeared to him again. While he's on the phone, okay? And this time she's holding like an upside down cross, like with a dagger. And he was describing her as having one eye. And that he began to say, she's here. And then the man, the host of the radio show would say, who's here? Okay? And he said, she's here. And he goes, what is she there for? Well, he described the upside down cross, and he described the dagger and the one eye. And then the man asked her, well, what does that mean? and he began to cry, and he said, they said that when I saw that, me iba a morir, I was going to die. That the day that I saw that, I would die. Okay? Well, he went ahead, and how the phone call ended, I'm not sure, but soon after, they found him dead.
Damn.
Okay, they found him dead. He began to cry on the phone, I don't want to die, I don't want to die. I guess he finally realized.
How did he die?
Okay, they never said.
Shit.
Okay, now, he said that when he began to do good with that money, the tormenting began every day. Okay, the tormenting began. Now, what did that torment consist of? Obviously, fear. He came home one day and he sees this woman all in white. Okay, so he died. But this is the interesting part, Marvelous, and this is why I wanted to share it. So the man listening to this phone call decides to go to Mexico because he's an investigator himself. Okay, then the story goes like this. He found a home to where that boy called from. And you know who spoke to him? A tall man with a hat.
Oh, shit.
Okay. And the man told him, nobody lives in that house. And he said, are you sure? Yeah, nobody lives in that house. They came back. Tragedies began to happen to the people that went with him. 2 months later, after he went to investigate that murder,
He died.
he died. And the show stopped. May 29th, 2011.
Damn.
Now, I kind of want to open it up a little bit and ask you, you know, if this story is true, okay, but it is true that these people are dead. But let's just say this story is true. What do you think happened? If you could elaborate a little bit.
I think that they inherit that curse that guy opened himself up to, bro. So I think, and it's just like when you involve yourself with somebody going through something traumatic or a curse, or somebody's dealing some witchcraft or whatever it might be, a stalker or whatever, bro, and you're mingling with them, you inherit that energy, homie. You take that shit back to your family. You know, you open that whole door up to, you know, that invitation, homie, when you should just shut it down. Don't give it no energy. Block it out. I don't want to talk about it. Don't even want to hear about it. Like, don't even have that negative thinking. I believe it comes with that, not even have to voice about it. Like, just thinking it, homie, is like negative energy,
Right.
period.
Right. Yeah. And he was saying that, like, he was being tormented. Now, I do want to talk about that really quick.
What if he was hearing voices and shit, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. You know, I wish he would have been a little bit more into, because if you hear him talk, and I'll send you the audio. If you hear him talk, you could tell that he's very, very scared, to the point where wherever he's at, he's not safe.
Yeah.
That's the way he sounded. And so the man was talking to him. But here's my thing. I interviewed people here on Freaky Tales several times. Some of them consider themselves witches. I had one here that told me she sold her soul. She clearly told me. She even brought her demonically possessed doll, and she was holding it.
Damn.
Okay. And supposedly, and I'll try to find out the episode and send it to you guys. Supposedly, she said that her doll actually felt uncomfortable around me. So she needed to put it away. And she actually said that her doll didn't want to be here. Okay. This is what she's saying. Okay. So now, talking about torment, I spoke to one of these women that consider themselves a witch. And we went outside. She was out there, you know, with some sage and stuff like that. She began to pray. And I asked her about spells. And I said, do you cast spells? Is that real? And she said, oh, yeah. But she also said, that's something you don't want to play with. So I said, you know, why is that? One thing, Marvelous, that every witch that professed to be a witch that I've interviewed here has told me this. You better be careful when you cast a spell on someone.
Because you got it coming back.
Because it will come back to you. It will. So she said that in the very beginning, she was, and she used this word, I was drunk with the power that I had.
Yeah.
Like, it consumed me, that I was doing bad. Somebody would pay me. Okay, let me get this person. Somebody another pay me. Let me get this person. I can get that person fired for their job, etc. Okay. Here's where it started coming back to me. He goes, at night, always when I was asleep. He goes, and the worst one was this. She goes, I had a job, but I had to quit. And I said, why is that? He goes, because my bruises weren't healing. And I said, what do you mean? I was asleep alone in my room. Something yanked me from my bed, grabbed for my ankles, threw me on the ground, threw my sheet over my face, and they started beating me up.
Started beating the shit out of her.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
He goes, my face was so bruised and so battered that it took months for it to heal and I could no longer go back to work. He goes, so I knew that's where I had it coming. So what this guy, I think his name was Josue, the guy that saw this evil spirit that was looking to make a pact. We don't know what kind of torment he went through.
Why in the fuck would you want to make a pact? Like, we'll possess you to do that shit.
Well, Marvelous, honestly, you'll be very, very surprised. Let me give you an example of an ex-drug dealer that told me this story. This dude told me, and again, people can say, Tony, you never give names, you never give dates, you never give the address. I'm not going to give the guy up who told me this story. If I don't have permission to use his name, I'm not going to use his name.
People are so cheese, man, huh?
Yes. But let's just say that this guy had been balling since the 80s, like balling out of control. He finally got caught. Didn't do a lot of years according to him, but he did 10 years. But when he came out, he had to go get a job. So he started working at Walmart. And keep in mind, having an $85,000 car, $150,000 car, to be working at a Walmart catching the bus, that's not the life for him.
Hell no.
So one day, he calls me, and he says, hey, bro, and this is exactly the way he said it, Marvelous. Do you know like any damn devil worshippers, witches, or anybody like that?
He was just ready to give it up, huh?
Yeah, and I said, what the hell? Like, what are you talking about? And he says, bro, this lifestyle isn't for me. And he was, do you remember what I used to have? Do you remember when I used to hang out with celebrities? Do you remember the places I used to go? Do you remember I was always out of state? The restaurants I owned? Like, he was upset, but he was also, if you will, consumed with that lifestyle.
Yep.
So he says, I'm ready, bro. He says, I'm ready. I don't give a shit. He goes, I will sell my soul. Now, he actually never did, because he told me something happened to him that scared the hell out of him. Now, I don't know why, if this was the devil, why it scared him into not wanting the pact.
Yeah.
Because according to him, he said he ended up, I will say this, he ended up going to a party in Newport. Okay? He started mixing and mingling with people. And he met a guy with long hair. Okay? Guy with long hair, glasses, tall white dude. Long black hair. They started shaking hands. They started talking. The guy invited him later. Come to my house. I'm going to hook you up. Okay? So the story goes like this. I went to his house, served me a drink, feeling good. His floor was checkered. You know, white, black, white, black, white, black. He said, the more I began to look, I began to see something like snakes under the checker floor. And I started thinking, what the hell did he put in my drink?
Yeah.
He said, but I was good. We were good friends. He said, like that night, we were cool. We kept in contact a couple of times, and then I lost contact with him. He goes, 3 months later, went back to another party. I see a guy with short hair, glasses, hat turned backwards, and he's staring at me from the corner of the room. He walks right up to me. He goes, remember me? He said, Tony, this guy was the same guy. He goes, I just don't know why he spotted me out like so quickly. He said, let's go to my house. And I told him, nah,
I'm good. Huh?
I'm good. I'm good.
That's crazy.
Now, this is where pretty much the story ends. He said, so I don't live out there. I drove home. This guy doesn't know where I live. When I park my car, he's across the street getting out with 2 guys. Okay? I see him. I run to my house, inside my house. Lock it up. I look. I don't see them. You know where I hear them at?
Where?
On my roof.
That's crazy. You know, it reminded me of the story that you're telling me right now. That movie with it's about the lawyer. It's with Keanu Reeves, and the dad is what's his name?
The Devil's Advocate.
There you go. And when they go kill the dude, there's those 3 demons jogging in the park and shit, and they kill that one dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. This shit reminded me of that.
He said he called me the next day, and he was terrified, bro. He was terrified. He said the only way that I can hear them stop walking on my roof, he said I finally got on my knees and I prayed. And I said, and honestly, I really wanted to be sarcastic, bro,
Mm-hmm.
but I was sensitive. I really want to say, you still want to sell your soul?
Yeah, that shit's no joke, man.
Yeah. So I know you have something you wanted to share, Marvelous. So share with us.
Well, there was a couple of different topics. Which one did you want to touch on?
Whatever one comes to mind first.
One of them was, I know we were going to talk about reincarnation, about that whole thing, and then do you want to touch on the pyramids, right?
We could touch a little bit on the pyramids. I know we've talked about that, the Stargates, if you will. Okay. You want to kind of elaborate
Yeah, so
on
I mean that goes. I think it falls in kind of like this a similar in a similar way about the worship of Horus and what they do, like the stuff that they do. Like we talked about Nipsey Hussle's funeral,
Right.
and I don't know if I shared with you the whole breakdown on how that was a ceremony to Horus, and how it's not a contract. I think it's more of a verbal contract that they do when it's like an invitation by a spirit and saying that you could live forever. And a lot of when you get into Egyptian, all the rituals that they used to do in the sacrificing, and today they call it the selling of your soul.
Yeah.
But it was literally like a form of you could live forever in paradise, and all you have to do is this. And essentially, it's like letting Horus possess your body, and you could live forever.
Now, Horus, for those that may not know, was that an Egyptian god or?
Yeah. So it was a man. He was killed, but it's like essentially the real story of Christ, what they say it is.
Okay.
So they say he became the overall all-seeing eye. That's why they use the all-seeing eye.
Oh yeah.
Of Egypt, the protector, and stuff like that. And to allow him to possess your body and stuff like that, you had to do certain sacrifices and rituals.
And this dates back to years,
centuries, bro. Yeah. So in today's the music industry, you see a lot of that stuff. Where they use the all-seeing eye, and it all goes back to those rituals, which people don't know.
One thing that just came to mind: would that tie in with what people call the Illuminati when they do the symbol with the one eye, something like this?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, now as far as I know you had mentioned one time, and I did my little study, not too much today, on the pyramids possibly being a Stargate to be able to, I don't know if I'm using the right word, to be able to teleport. When did you first hear of that?
Man, I first heard of that when I was like 19 years old, I think, and that was a conversation that I had with that one gentleman. He was an older gentleman kicking it with a bunch of the homies. And he was talking about all this stuff, and I'm right there like mentally flipping him off, like, you sound dumb, homie. Like, all this shit that you're saying sounds ridiculous. Like the same way people come at me. Of course. They're like, man, you sound stupid. I know how I sound. Right. It sounds like some smoked out shit. But it's not. Like when you really study all this shit, it's like, fuck, that shit is in a book. Right. That shit's in the Book of the Dead, or you look up, you start to study Egyptology, or the Kemites, all that. It's all in there. It's all in the books, But so I know how it sounds and shit like that. But yeah, bro, that's when I first started, opening my eye, I guess, which the eye is the Great Awakening, the illuminated one, when you go to your different degrees of the, not the, I don't want to say Illuminati, but the lower ranking ones would call Masons or whatever.
Yeah. And
you become illuminated by the different degrees that you're coming to your awakening.
Right. Well, remind me to touch on the Mason thing. But now, did they ever discover, or is it just like hieroglyphics or cartouches that they have in Egypt where people assumed or believed that was a Stargate?
No. This comes from like oral history, where
oral tradition,
right,
that they pass down.
Yeah. So like in books, they don't teach us none of that shit. In school, they told us that these pyramids were tombs of, King so and so, or the Pharaoh of so and so, and it's not. Like that's not what it is. And over here in our cultura, in the Mexica or the Maya or the Inca, they don't tell us that these were tombs of a certain king or whoever was running the program at that time. These are literal, and there wouldn't be enough room for there to be a tomb or a sarcophagus or whatever in certain areas or whatever. below most of the pyramids, another thing that people don't know about is the lakes of mercury that are there. Like what is that used for? Or how the pyramids were made. They want to always bring in the extraterrestrials and they must have did it or whatever.
Right.
But when you go back to the the oral history of it, or the stuff that's facts, like I'll shoot you that later on, is how these granite rocks were moved was through sound frequency, a form of levitation, on how they levitate UFOs, or you could levitate these earphones off the table by using certain how do you say it, frequencies, like from the earth, like this planet. This planet, literally, like they call it a planet, but it's literally called a planet, like a net. That's why it's called the internet. So it's all energy, bro. And some parts of the earth release certain pockets of higher frequency. And today, that's like where a lot of military bases are at. Sometimes it's changed, but back then at that period, like around 14th century, 13th century, or even before that, that's where the pyramids were made.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, back to, let me ask you a question. Do you believe that during the time that these possible Stargates, because when I think Stargate, and I want to make that clear, they made a movie in the 90s called Stargate, I believe, with Kurt Russell.
Right.
Okay. Which I truly enjoyed. I truly enjoyed.
Yeah,
it. Probably
dope.
one of my favorite movies. And they found a Stargate. They put it together. They found this one guy to put the cartouches together to kind of like unlock the combination. And when he went there, he traveled through space and ended up going somewhere else. Okay. That's what I mean by Stargate. Do you think that is that what was going on back then? Do you think that was possible back then?
Yeah, definitely, bro.
Okay.
And you're passing, when you see these Stargates are the remnants of a Stargate, where you see that those it looks like a crescent kind of. And through the Stargate is water. And they're passing through this mystical water and shit to another land, or Atlantis, or whatever they want to say that they're going to. But yeah, it's water. That's another reference to as above, so below, where they do that whole ritual thing, and they make that symbolism and shit, because it's water up there. That's literally a mirror to this planet of what's going on.
Okay. Now, I mean, I know we don't know, we don't have all the answers, but do you believe that Stargates are, how am I trying to present this question? They're around today? Do you think they're around?
Heck yeah. Yep.
Really?
There's 10 of them that I can name that are here.
Really?
Canada, Australia, the Hawaiian Islands, some of them that you can't go to.
Right.
Yeah, bro.
Now, I was reading something today about Hindus that they believed, and I don't want to use the word Stargate, but they believed in traveling into space. So whether they want to call that Stargate or not, but they believed in traveling to space. And I'm trying to remember what source I got it from, so I could share it with you later. But they believed that when they went to, if you will, heaven, or what they considered a heaven, or maybe I could say a dimension that they went to, they were there for about maybe 2 to 3 days. Here's the part that kind of tripped me out. That when they came back down, it was 300 years later.
Yeah.
Okay, now, I seen this movie, I don't know if you've seen it, Prometheus.
I haven't.
It's actually a pretty good movie. Check it out, okay? It's about aliens, and they go and try to find this planet because they believe that this is from where mankind came from.
Did they say the name of it?
No, but the movie's Prometheus, so when you get a chance, it's actually a pretty good movie. And it's entertaining. So when they get to this planet, they know that it's going to take like years to get there.
Yeah.
But they also know that by the time they get back, it's been hundreds of years already.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's another reason, I'm sorry, bro, to cut you off, but that's another reason why they use, NASA uses references to this planet or planet is so many light years away.
Okay.
Because even in scripture, time down here that we're living in is man-made. It's not reality. The Most High or the creators move in portals. they're able to move like their year system is not nowhere near what we believe it would be. So like our 3 years, like you're saying, would be 30 years to them.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So that right there really tripped me out, because I'm thinking to myself, I mean, sometimes it sounds fascinating to be able to say, wow, I can go light years away, get there. But let me ask you this, and you have a family.
Right.
Okay, you have a beautiful family, but I want to say this. Say you tell your daughter, your children, and I'm going to be gone, you know, for, let's just say it's going to take 6 years to get there. Baby, I'll be back. Okay, I'll be back. When you get back, it's 300 years later.
Damn, that'd be fucked up.
Like, if that's true, who would want to do that?
I don't know, bro. It's the same thing, like, you know, the whole vampire shit. You know, these vampires can live forever and shit. Like, would you really want to live forever and see that many people, or fall in love so many times and see everybody die before you? Like, damn, I think it kind of be messed up, you know? Yeah.
No, it would, because now you're forced to bury your children every 20, 30, 40 years.
Yeah.
You know? Then you start all over, get married, have family again.
Yeah.
And then you do that again the next 60 years. Start all over again. I wouldn't want to live that kind of life. So now, so you do believe that, you said that Stargates are real?
Oh, definitely.
You know, I would like to believe that. You know, that there's a movie called Jumpers.
What? I think I've seen that.
Yeah, let's just say I see this area right here.
Yeah.
And I guess mentally I just take myself there. And that's what they're doing. You know, so that's kind of like teleporting. Without a Stargate, do you think that there are people that can do that?
No. Okay.
So you need some type of device, if you will.
Yeah, and also I believe that your chakras have to be aligned with the right frequency, because that acts like a key to enter that portal. If you don't have it, you won't be able to go through that.
I somewhat believe that as well. Okay. Now, I know you had something else. Let's talk about that little boy that you mentioned. Remember, we talked about that little boy that believed that he was from a past life.
Right.
Can you share with us?
Okay, so that story, it's called a soul trap. So for anybody that wants to learn about what we're talking about right now, and then when you do, I reference this, if you do want to learn about this stuff called the soul trap or whatever, it is that we live on a flat earth again, and we're covered by a firmament dome. That firmament dome, we cannot pass through that firmament dome without us being from a certain bloodline, or our chakras being aligned to pass through that Stargate, because that would be considered a Stargate as well. There are certain bloodlines that are down here that are not from our bloodline, but would be from a so-called cursed bloodline, which would be from the fallen angels, if you're going to go on a biblical term. Excuse me. So what they try to do is manipulate their bloodline by creating hybrid races, or by mixing their blood with ours. So you take the reptilian race,
yes,
or you take hybrid animals that are not supposed to be here, like the liger, the tigon, the short-eared owl, stuff like that. Those would be considered abominations, and when they die, they would have a spirit too, but that spirit would be from the 9 lower realms, and they would not be able to pass through that firmament dome. So their blood would literally have to be manipulated, mixed with ours in some sort of way, which they believe that would be a way to pass through that firmament.
Right.
So anyways, man, I get so mixed up, bro, when I start talking about all this shit. But the soul trap, they believe it kind of, I feel like it dismisses the whole biblical stuff. And it just brings out a whole new way of fucking thinking, because the people that had claimed to be reincarnated as somebody else, it's from in scripture, it's just from our bloodline.
Okay.
So like your sons, you would live on through your gene pool, your sons
Correct.
and daughters or whatever. But in the soul trap, you would, if you passed away, you would come back as somebody totally different, maybe in another country or something.
Okay.
So there's kids that have been born, and this ranges from the age of 1 to maybe 6 or 7 or 8 at the latest. From the stories that I've read, no older than that, because then you kind of lose your memory or whatever. You go into different stages of awakening, I guess. And these kids, they claim to have lived a whole former life. There's one kid that said that he was Amelia Earhart. There was another white boy that claimed to be a black woman that died in a fire in the Bronx or something. There's another one I shot you that story today that I forgot which one I shot you, bro.
It was a little boy that said that he was a man and he was killed.
Okay, he was a man and that he was killed. This little boy, he started telling his mom and dad that he was so and so. His real name was this and that, and
he was actually born with a lump, if I'm correct.
Yeah, a lump on his head, like a little ball or whatever. And he ended up showing his parents the guy that murdered him. He took him to his house. The parents confronted the dude, and it was a big old thing. But the little kid knew too much about this former life.
Right. And if I'm correct, if I could interject, what happened was, I think the little boy even took him to where he was killed and where he was buried.
Yep. Yeah. So the guy, they confronted the guy first, and the guy ended up saying, "Oh no, it wasn't me, and I didn't do that or whatever." So the little boy showed them where the body was at, where he was buried in his former life, and they started digging with I guess they went to go buy a shovel. They're digging and they found the skull, and the skull had a big old gash or fracture where he had been supposedly hit. So
now stuff like that, Marvelous. How do you explain stuff like that? I mean, it's almost, and at the same time, and I would like to look at both sides of the coin. If this is true, how do you explain that? Like, how do you make sense of all this? Because again, this little boy says that's the man that killed me, and this is where he buried me, and they find it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's incredible.
Yeah,
you know?
It's crazy. But then I start to think about, some people that are in these traditional Mexican families. I like to say we always get those stories, by our grandmothers or grandfathers, and these old they're like fairy tales. And oh, mija, that mole that you have right there on your face or whatever, that's where you died in your last lifetime. Like maybe you were shot or stabbed or whatever the fuck you died from. Now you have a birthmark in that area, so it's kind of like makes you think.
Yeah. And I know we were talking about that birthmark stuff, and I don't recall having any, but it's not the first time. I've heard only one other person than you say this, but this was a long time ago. So do you believe that where a person has a birthmark, there's a possibility that that's possibly what it means? Or at least that's what you've heard, correct? Okay. After listening to that boy in that story, as far as him showing them, do you believe possibly that stuff like that does exist?
You know what? Yeah, and it makes you wonder, bro. I mean, it makes you think and question, of course, and it's always good to question everything, But I also do believe in or know about the spiritual side, bro, and possessions that take place, and maybe a spirit entered that little boy or something,
right? And that knew so much,
yeah,
right. No, you're absolutely right. Now, I know you had another story. You know what? Let me take the time to do something right now, because let me read one email, then I'll let you
handle it.
Okay. Hopefully I can read this because it's kind of dark in here, but it says this. Hey, Tony. My name is Erica from Lake Forest, California. I was recently introduced to your podcast through my brother. Needless to say, I am a huge fan now. I can relate to so many of the topics and stories presented in your show. What an amazing space to have and allow the fans to share their experiences. I have about a book's worth of experiences to share, but I wanted to share one that happened not too long ago and is fresh in my mind. I like the way, first and foremost, I like the way this woman writes, because she puts all her punctuate where they belong.
That's dope. Okay. Articulate.
Yes, I've had many episodes of sleep paralysis in my life since childhood. As a kid and a young teen, I didn't comprehend what the lucid nightmares were. I would only see a shadow figure and always on top of me, sitting on my chest. But now I've researched and they freak me out even more. I'm sorry, they're so small. Even more when they happen. About 2 years ago, I had one of these sleep paralysis episodes. In my state of mind of half awake, half asleep, and that's usually when it happens. Half awake, half asleep. Sometimes you don't know if you are awake or asleep. It's weird. It's almost like you're caught in the middle. Okay. I said, I usually see demonic entities. They are gory and are very close to me, either coming from the side of the bed or on top of me. As I get older, they become real creepy things. Anyway, 2 years ago, after watching it, the movie inspired by Stephen King books, I went to bed a little creeped out. The movie gave me a psychological scare I can't explain. The sleep paralysis was too long. I kept waking fully and falling back, only to struggle to wake up again. Let me start right there. You're actually describing what I go through. Exactly what she would wake up, go back to sleep. You cannot snap out of it. It's almost like you are forcing yourself to wake up, and you know you're about to fall back in. And when you fall back in, you fall right back exactly where you were. And it's scary. And then you try to wake yourself up, and it's terrifying, man. It's terrifying. This is where my sons, I shared with you, my two boys, when we went to go see the Dallas Cowboy training camp, and I rented a hotel, they actually saw me being attacked. That's why they woke me up. Okay, let me continue here. Okay, maybe about 30 minutes of a struggle. It is the last moment of it. Something physically touched my toe. It was wet and cold. I forced myself to wake up, and to my horror, my toe, still under the covers, was wet. Wow. Okay. I am not sure if you have covered any episodes on sleep paralysis, because I'm trying to catch up on all your content. If not, I would love to hear one. I read a bit on it, and this is scary. If like in the movie Insidious, it is step into a realm. We step into a realm we are capable of walking through. It is a step into a realm we are capable of walking through. Okay. Again, love your show. Keep up the good work. Love, Erica. Now, thank you, Erica, first and foremost, for taking the time to write us. But sleep paralysis, the way you described it, is pretty much exactly the way that I've been going through it myself. Now, you said you woke up with the wet toe. Okay, now that was actually pretty creepy. My last one, but every time I saw something, Margaret, it was always black. It was always like a black figure. I never saw the guy with the hat, but I always saw the black figure. The last time that I got attacked, it was actually a white figure. It was like all white, glowing white. And that's what attacked me. And I couldn't wake up. I would wake up, and finally my kids woke me up because I was yelling for help. And that's pretty much what took place. So thank you once again, Erica, for sharing that.
Crazy.
I know you had something else, another story.
Man.
Oh, you know what?
Which one was it? There's so many, bro.
Yeah, just if you can just pick one of them. If not, let's touch on the Masons. Okay. I have a lot of friends that are Masons. Okay. And I don't like to bring this up, but the little, and I say little research that I have seen, I was fortunate enough to meet a man whom his best friend was, I believe, at the highest level of becoming a Mason. When at the highest level of becoming that Mason, you get, not only do you get a certain ring, but you get a book. I don't know if you've ever heard of this book.
You're referencing the Bible, right? So it's the Bible
for them,
King James, but it's manipulated to their.
He didn't tell me it was the Bible. Actually, he told me that it was like a Mason book that is only given to. I don't even know if I'm even saying it right, but to the third rank, I believe that's what they're called.
So if it's the same thing, bro, it would be a Bible, and that's what I was gonna ask you too. If anybody showed it to you. Some people have bought some like online. I don't know, and they're
well, supposedly, when that book is given to you, nobody else can see it.
Yeah, nobody's supposed to see it.
Okay. I was doing a research on a little bit on Masons, because the guys that you see working and say they're Masons, they just go to the lodge and chill and hang out. It's the high-ranking ones, okay, that nobody knows too much about.
Yep.
This guy that told me this story had nothing to lie about. He was in his 70s already, okay? And he's originally from Georgia, okay? He told me that his friend he lost his friend early in his 20s. His best friend. His friend became a high-ranking Mason. His friend sent for him. He went back to Georgia. Talked to him. He was on his deathbed. He was home on hospice. Okay, his friend was, and he said, "There's something that I need you to get rid of for me, but nobody can know you have it." See, this is the reason why I don't mention names, bro. Okay, give him his ring and give him the book. Now he goes, at first I really wanted to read it, but I know you're not supposed to open it.
Right.
And his friend told him, I need you to read something for me. And he said, and it's the introduction to that book. And I'm not going to say a word for word, but this is pretty much what he said. When he opened it, he goes, to my surprise, this is what it said. And we know that our Lord and Savior, we know that our light is Lucifer.
Right.
Okay. Now, I didn't know that. I found this out maybe like 7 years ago. And I said, that's that book? And he said, yes. He passed away. I ended up getting rid of all of his stuff. He said, because if this falls into the hands of the wrong people, those people can get killed. So have you heard anything like that?
Yeah, definitely. So a lot of, like you said, the little bougie ones, the Masons, they don't know shit what's going on. You know what I mean? It's a special invitation, and it keeps on being a special invitation, even when you are involved in a certain lodge. And they call it lodges from whatever region you stay at, or whoever you're associated with who invites you becomes your, like it would be like a, what do you call that, a padrino or whatever. Right. You know, so that's who speaks for you. And they interview your family and shit like that. They'll go back to your first grade teacher, homie, and fucking, you know, ask questions your wife on how you're living, what kind of food do you eat, have you been this? They go through now they have the ability. I mean, I think it's always been where they could go through your fucking phone, through your all of that, homie. So, you know, that also determines the level that you're gonna go to, I believe. You know what I mean? So yeah, bro. They call him Polarius, the great morning star, and that would be the star that's right in the middle. When how do I say it? It's like a bullseye, bro. In biblical, in the real Hebrew, how do I say it? Knowledge or bloodline or whatever. Okay. His name is Yahushai, which would be associated with the Jesus. I don't want to say Jesus because that's not his name, right? But that's who that is. The morning star. Hilarious.
Yeah. Okay. I just wanted to touch on that because I had never shared that story before, but I'll be honest, I even felt a little creeped out even sharing it because this person who shared it with me is no longer living. Okay. And I'll tell you how this man was a very, very conservative man, took very good care of himself, very well spoken. Okay. I received a phone call one day and they tell me, are you familiar with so-and-so? I'll just use his name. I mean, not his name, but I'll give him the alias John. Okay. Are you familiar with John? John, let's just say, I don't know, Smith. Okay. Yeah. Well, I found his wallet right here in the park. And it has a little letter. If anything happens to me, this is his number. And please give all my belongings to him. Who are you? I told her, who are you? He goes, I was just walking through the park and I saw his wallet laying here. Yeah. You know, and everything's taken out except this letter. His ID and everything's still here. And I said, okay, I'll meet you there right now. I know exactly where you're at. So I went. Girl told me, I don't know anything about it, but the letter said in there. I said, okay. Waited 2 days, nothing. I'm waiting for his phone call, nothing. Okay. I went to where he lived, obviously, nothing. Okay. I finally called up one of my friends and who works for law enforcement. Yeah. And here's what he said. You need to start calling the coroner's office. I said, okay. So first I went to the police department to file a missing police report. They said, okay, here's what we're going to do. Have you tried the coroner? And I said, no, my buddy said that, you know, that first go to the police department, then go to the coroner's office. She goes, okay, can you describe him? So I showed him a picture. Okay. This woman, Harbor Division right here, calls the coroner's office. And she goes, okay, give me 1 second. How tall was he? I said about 6'2". You know, mustache, only mustache. You know, I said, skinny. Okay. She hangs up and she says, they have him over there.
Damn.
Okay. Here's the story. That he committed suicide. He threw himself into the ocean. And the first thing that I thought was when his friend told him, if anybody finds out who has this book, they'll kill him. Okay. I'm not saying that's what happened, but I know this man. Okay. And let me tell you something, Marvelous. I know you enough that if somebody called me the next day and said he committed suicide, no, he didn't. Somebody killed him.
Yeah, bro.
So that's how well I knew this man.
I was looking for the video, bro, to see if it was on YouTube, but I guess it's not.
Which video is it?
It's the one where they bought the Bible, or some guy finds it at a flea market, and it's a Bible, King James Bible, but it's a Mason Bible. So it has like one whole section, or half of it would be the Bible in its original form, and then the other section is the same thing, the Bible, but what the translation of the scriptures really mean and how they're associated with
almost like
Lucifer.
Their commentary, if you will. Okay. Wow. I got one more story that I want to read that somebody emailed, and then we'll take some phone calls.
For sure.
Okay. Episode 50 was a great show. This guy wanted to be remain anonymous. So once again, episode 50 was a great show, and I just want to follow up with some more information that you can possibly help with. Long story short, I introduced a girl to my childhood friend. He's a hardcore Christian, and the girl supposedly is as well. So I thought it would be a great match. Slowly but surely, he started turning on his own family. Meaning he would fight and argue with them, and thereafter he started fighting with his friends as well. At that time, he was my roommate, and every time his lady would come to the pad, there was always this negative energy, and his lady and him would blame it all on me, saying I had something following me. Okay. From my understanding, the girl's mom used to do brujeria, and if the girl does not do it because she is supposedly a Christian. Okay. I ended up kicking him out of my pad because things were getting weird. Strange things were happening in the apartment. I would ask to my friend, sorry, this guy didn't put no comments. I would talk to my friend, and it would be the homeboy I used to know. But as soon as his girl would be on the phone or in the pad, his demeanor would change. My question is, do you think that this girl was my friend under a spell? And if so, how do you break it? Let me read that last question. Do you think that this girl has my friend under a spell? And if so, how do you break it? Okay.
I don't know, bro. I don't know. I mean, I don't know, man. I believe that people, whether they realize it or not, are in some kind of spell. Whether they're in a relationship or not. And you're wondering why. I say it like this: say you're with a chick or whatever, and you guys are constantly bickering or whatever. The sex might be a form of a spell.
I believe that.
So you gravitate that energy, and it's your demons playing with her demons. That enjoy each other's company. It could be that.
You know what? I believe that, and I believe it could be a lot of that because, and I just don't always want to blame it on the woman, but I will say this. Marvelous, I have seen some good men, and when I say good men, like good wholesome men, men that take care of the family, men that go to work, men that work for the family, that provide, are educated, and they happen to hook up with a certain female. And their whole fucking life takes a shit.
Yep.
Okay? And I've talked to people like that, and I've asked them, bro, what is it? And you know what they told me? One guy told me with tears in his eyes, and he says, I don't know why I keep going back.
That's sad, bro.
Okay? Now, I know who this girl is. This girl has nothing to offer other than sex. She doesn't work. She's not educated. She's a pendeja. She's a hood rat. Okay? All she has to offer, honestly, is sex.
That's sad.
Yeah, it is. And she took this man, and think about this. I always like to say, if she doesn't make you better or you don't make her better, you guys don't need to be together.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
So she was just putting him in debt. He was always depressed. He was always mad. He was never himself anymore. So I just don't understand. I tried talking to him several times. I just can't shake it.
Yeah.
I have a friend right now in jail because of his girl. In jail.
Yeah.
And the pendeja still goes visit him. I love you. I need you when you get out. I would be like, bitch, you're the one that put me in here.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't get it, bro. But here's what we're going to do. Let's go ahead and put that number up, Alex, and let's start taking some phone calls. So, all right. Let me get a feel of. I hope you guys are enjoying it as much as I am.
Feel like I haven't been here forever, man.
For reals?
Yeah. Been a minute.
All right, callers. The number should be up. Yeah, it's up. So let's see. You can leave a question, comment, or complaint. It doesn't matter. Go ahead. Oh, shoot. I got to tap in. Okay, let me know when I'm in. Yeah. Okay, good. Okay, here we go. Caller, your name and where are you calling from? Caller, you're on. Give you about 3 seconds, and then we'll go to the next call. Okay, let's go to the next one. Question. Alex, I hear a feedback. Comment or complaint, it doesn't matter. Okay. Here we go. Let's take this phone call right here. Raise it up. Caller, your name and where are you calling from?
I don't want to say my name.
Okay.
But I want to say I'm calling from Santa Maria. And the reason why is because I wanted to tell you guys a quick story.
Yes.
About something that happened on Christmas night.
Ooh.
Here in my town.
Okay.
I'm actually doing a podcast about it, but I just wanted to say hello to Marvelous. Such a hard worker, man. I see you on Instagram doing tattoos every day.
I appreciate you, bro. Thank you, man.
And Tony, the consistency, I can't believe it's Freaky Tales 56 or, up in that number. That's really good, man.
Thank you. Greatly appreciate it.
Okay. Yeah. So about this story, this happened back in 2016, I believe. And the reason why I don't want to give my name is because they believe that it was cartel related. And I just don't want to have, any negative towards me, especially living in a small town. But like I said, the kid's name is Ivan Nunes. If you Google it, Santa Maria. So this was the night of Christmas. He was born the day after Christmas, 16 years old.
Yes.
He was having a party for his Christmas and birthday. And his sister had said that they were in the backyard. He was really happy. His face just got, smashed into the cake just before midnight. And none of his friends attended, just family. And all of a sudden, she seen his, face expression change. Looked at his phone, had a really bad face expression. She said she heard a knock at the door a little after midnight, and they never seen him again. Never. They reported him missing. They were looking for him for almost 2 months. Then about 10 miles away, in a town that's called Napomo, a farmer found him out there in the barn. Now, from what I had heard from the farmer, is that barn was abandoned just because it was really in bad shape where if you were to lean on it, it would literally almost fall over, termite infested. So he closed it down. But he had said that he was hearing strange noises coming from that barn. screaming and yowling and moaning. So he decided to open up, only to find a decapitated body in there. And when I asked him about decapitated, because it was in the newspapers, but that he had said that that kid was hung, but his body, he was hung so long in there that, because his head was still hanging, but the body fell off.
Wow.
And the police went over there, did their investigation, and they ruled it as suicide. But the only thing that confuses Mike, that our community is confused about is they had built a timeline and tracked his GPS on his phone, and he was in nearby towns, and people were even trying to extort money from his mom, and there was comments on Facebook. They believed that he was being held captive in a home back in January, and when they did find him, he was wearing his original clothes that he had left from the party. But the only thing that confuses a lot of people is, how did he find that barn? Because it's not on the main road, literally like in the mountains. How did he get there? Did he walk there? Was he driven there? Was he dropped off there? There's just a lot of mysteries, and we just feel that the police didn't really give it a good investigation. I'm trying to get my first episode out, before Christmas. But I will surely let you guys know when that happens. I was actually just working on it, listening to your guys' freaky tales, and decided just to give you guys a call to let you know what we're working on out here.
Good, man. Anything you want to...
How old was that kid again?
16.
Damn.
And what year did this happen?
You know what? Let me look it up right here in my file. Here, I know I said 2016, but I just want to give you guys the accurate date. And you know what? It was 2016. 2016.
Wow.
Oh, I'm sorry. December 27th, 2015.
2015. And so after his party, so they were saying that his mom or somebody saw his facial expression, that it was different?
Yes, correct. If you want me to read the quote from the mother, exactly, I can read it to you real quick.
Yeah, go ahead and read it.
Okay. The day Ivan Nunes turned 16 years old, he threw a party and invited family and friends to his house on the 500 block of West Hermosa Street. It was the night after Christmas. There was music and dancing in his backyard that evening, and everyone was having a good time except for Ivan. Without explanation, according to one female witness, Ivan went from being happy to serious and abruptly went inside the house, never to be seen alive again. Nearly 2 months later, Ivan's body was discovered in an abandoned barn 10 miles away from his home in Napomo. But Ivan's parents refused to believe it was a suicide. The investigation following his disappearance and death involved several officers from the Santa Maria Police Department in San Luis Obispo County. No conclusion or evidence still to this day. So 1 year later, the family still is at a loss.
Go ahead.
So check it out. So say how people are trying to associate a cartel with this, whatever, right? Allegedly. Why would this youngster's expression change? How would he know about all that or whatever if it was the dealings with his family member, his mom, or whoever that oferia to them or whatever they were involved in? Why would his facial expressions change? That's what don't make sense to me. You know what I mean?
I believe that he might have, and I'm just saying, I believe I wasn't there, but from what little he's sharing, I believe that he recognized somebody showed up to his party, and he probably saw that he was there.
That could have been it.
And first thing that I would have done, I would have checked all pictures of everyone that attended there. And an investigator would have talked to every single person there because this was 10 miles away. There's no way he could have walked. If he didn't have a car, how did he get over there? I mean, we could put it together, and we're not even investigators, man. So
exactly.
Okay.
And at that time, in 2015, 2016, 2017, believe it or not, there was a lot of violence here in Santa Maria. from MS-13, and they probably killed about 6 kids, in between those 3 years. A lot of them have just been sentenced, they're fighting their trial, of course, but maybe less than a year ago. But one thing that shocks me, and I'm still talking with the farmer, is, he felt that there was something that he was hearing. He said anywhere between 2 and 3 in the morning outside that barn. He said he hadn't been in there in over 3 years. And that's because he just didn't want it to fall down on him,
Right.
He felt that it was so old. And how did somebody know about it? Besides, people would know, but out of all places to go there, they literally broke into it and to hang yourself, and I told them, how long were you experiencing these, events, people screaming and yelling and running? He said, man, it was like literally 2 weeks. I would hear it every other night. And he said, and I told the investigators that I don't know if it was a spirit or what, but just something was telling me to go in there, and imagine if he did actually kill himself that night in December. Literally 2 months. He didn't start hearing this until he said I think the beginning of February. So I don't know if that has anything to do with it. It could make just a little bit more, the podcast a little bit more interesting, just saying that, Yeah. But it's definitely a good story here,
Okay.
But I think you guys should Google it, and there's a lot of stories about it.
Okay,
in the timeline.
Say his name.
I hope you get this podcast out.
Yeah, say his name once again so that people can look it up themselves.
Definitely. Ivan, last name is Nunes, Nunez.
Okay.
And Santa Maria. Ivan Nunes, Santa Maria.
You guys look it up, you guys. Okay.
Google that, and the story will pop up.
Okay, thank you, caller.
Okay, I appreciate you guys for taking my call. You guys have a good night.
Okay. Wow.
Okay, I appreciate you guys for taking my call.
Yeah, but let's get this other phone call. Let's see. Caller, your name and where you calling from?
Hi, good evening. My name is Eddie. I'm calling from El Paso, Texas.
What's up, Eddie from El Paso? ¿Cómo estás, bro? Everything good?
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
Good, man.
What's up, homie?
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of touch bases on one of the last topics you guys spoke about, which was sleep paralysis.
Yeah.
I've met some family members in the past that have gone through that, and then doing the little research that I've done, those demonic dreams are called incubuses. I just wanted to see if you guys have heard of those dreams before.
Yes, the incubus and the succubus. One of them is a demonic, if you will, woman spirit that has sex with men while they're sleeping, and then the other one is a man spirit that has sex with women while they sleep. So yes, I'm very familiar with incubus and the succubus. Now, I don't know if these pertain to these stories that I'm about to share, but I've had women that have told me that they have woken up with bruises between their legs and have felt that something, and they live by themselves, something was having sex with them.
Norby's told me the same thing. He had bruises between his legs. I'm just playing, homie. Just clowning.
Go ahead, caller. Go ahead.
I was going to say, it's kind of weird because years ago, when I was married, when I would work, because I would work night shift at the time, and then my ex at the time, she would tell me that she would experience those dreams, but for years she was always like, I don't know what it was, and then we started to do some research, and that's when we came up, like we could be the incubus or that
Succubus, yeah.
What was the other one? Succubus? Yes. And then she would even show me that she would wake up like with bruises like around her body. It was weird.
Did it ever, was that something that was happening continuously, or did it eventually stop? Or
eventually it did stop, but I remember I first started noticing this when we had first gotten married. Like it would go on for like every other couple of months. It would happen.
Okay.
I remember the first encounter I had with that was years ago with one of my cousins.
Yeah.
He said that he was like in a sleep paralysis, that I remember, according to him, he was trying to wake us up. He said he was screaming, but I remember when I did find my cousin, yeah, he was screaming out loud, like, and he was going through this nightmare, but it was hard for him back then to describe what he was going through. And not till years fast forward, I got married. That's what I told my cousin. Yeah, that's exactly what you were going through. Because back then we couldn't really understand what was going on.
Yeah.
We just told my cousin, "Estás loco," you know.
Yeah. All good, brother. Thank you for calling in and sharing that, man. I greatly appreciate you taking the time.
No, yes, sir. I'm a fan of both of you guys, and appreciate the content and the information.
Absolutely. You have a blessed night.
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's go to the next one. Caller, your name and where are you calling from?
Yes, this is Pedro from San Jose.
How you doing, Pedro?
Pretty good. How are you guys? I just want to get you guys' opinion or input. I don't know if you guys seen that commercial that's going viral from Canada where it's the government is pretty much saying if you have mental health issues, just end your life, commit suicide, and if you're not brave enough to do it, to call this hotline that will basically encourage you and walk you through it so that you can just end your life because mental health, there's no cure for it.
Wow, I never heard that.
I never heard that. That's a very, very bold statement.
Yeah, bro, it's all over social media right now. It's just trending like crazy. It's a commercial. You can look it up anywhere, even YouTube, disturbing commercial. And it's you know, I thought it's demonic. I just want to know your guys' input or opinion on that.
Okay. Now, if I wanted to look it up, how can I Google it? Just put what, Canada suicide commercial?
Yeah, just put disturbing commercial.
Serving?
And it should show like a girl kind of weeping, crying. Disturbing commercial or most disturbing commercial.
In Canada? Okay.
Yeah, it's in Canada.
Wow. You know, sometimes I like to say nothing surprises me, but no, stuff like this does surprise me still, bro. Because if this is true and I see it and I see that this is true, bro, it's like you're just pretty much telling, eventually you're going to tell people we're going to have a purge day.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just kill yourself.
Right.
I mean, I don't get it, bro. Of course, I believe it's demonic. If that's true, I believe it's demonic. Who would tell?
No, 100%.
You know,
I mean, just because in the book, you know, it says, I think, right? I mean, that nobody can take your life but God, right? I mean, if you take your own life, you end up, you know,
right,
with the one you don't want to be with, right?
Yeah, he just found it. So we're gonna look at it after the show, and I'll definitely post something up about it on my Freaky Tales page. But yeah.
Oh, for sure, man.
So thank you, my bro. I appreciate you calling in, man.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay.
No problem. You guys take care.
You
too, bro.
Right.
Wow, that's crazy. I never even seen that shit.
Same here. Okay, let me see. All right. Caller, your name and where are you calling from?
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, yo, Tony. It's Vito from Canada calling.
How you doing, brother? Oh, he lost. Yeah, but let's get this other phone call. Let's see. So, Canada, call back. We lost you. Wow. There he is right here. I think this is him. Caller, your name and where you calling from?
What up, Tony? This is Renee from Florida.
Renee from Florida.
What up, Marvin?
What's up, homie?
Sure. Chilling, bro. Now, I wanted to say a little story, man, that happened to me. A dream. You know, the sleep paralysis?
Yes.
It happened to me when I was in jail. I fell asleep listening to classical music. And I'm a Christian, and I know I shouldn't have been listening to that. And but I still put it on. And I fell asleep looking at, like, towards out the cell. You know, I could see the bars. But when I fell asleep, I woke up, and I could still see the bars. But I woke up in a dream, but it was dark. Like, it was real dark. And I just felt like a bad presence. You know, like some demons or something. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't talk or nothing. And I just, you know, tried to call Jesus. but I couldn't move my mouth, nothing, you know. So, but I could still hear the classical music, you know. And after I woke up, gracias a Dios, I woke up. God put it in my heart, like it was like not to listen to those things, you know, because before that I was reading about Beethoven, or one of those people that he had alcohol problems and he was very depressed. I don't know if it was him or not, but those music he was influenced by demons, you know. So those music, even though he's not alive no more, that spirits are still out here, you know.
Yeah.
So it's very scary, bro. Like everything that we watch, that we hear, if they don't please God, then it's actually pleasing the enemy, you know, the devil.
Yeah.
But I don't know, bro. It just happened to me, you know, and I've been wanting to share this for a while, so I appreciate
all good,
you listening and taking the call.
You know what? Was this a one-time thing, or did it happen on several occasions?
It happened a lot of times, but this time I remember because I was in jail, you know.
Okay.
And yeah, but I was learning about music, about like Beethoven and all those people, like what they were going through while they were writing those music. And I think he was going through depression, or he was going through like he was an alcoholic or something like that.
Yeah.
And that's why, even though classical music, they don't say lyrics or nothing, it's just music, but it's still influenced by bad spirits, you know?
Facts.
Anything you want to...
On. But yeah, bro, it's a trip, man, you know?
Thank you, bro, man. Thank you definitely for calling in and sharing that. It takes a lot for a lot of people to call and be transparent and share, man. So
heck yeah.
I want to thank you for sharing that, bro.
No problem. Thank you, bro. God bless y'all. You have a good one.
All right,
you too, homie.
Stay blessed.
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah, I know.
People wouldn't even think that classical music would do that shit.
Caller, your name and where are you calling from?
Hey, Pablo Escobar.
What's up, Pablo Escobar? ¿Cómo estás, bro?
The story, it sounded like he was crying.
Probably.
You heard about the spacecraft? It just landed in the Pacific Ocean. And the Artemis, it went around the moon, supposedly. But I don't know if you read the article, or they spent all this money, but they never bothered to turn on the nitrogen and oxygen tanks, artificial, survival things that you need to breathe there. They never tested it. So they spent all this money, went around the moon, never bothered to test the life support system. I don't know.
Have you heard of that?
What do you think?
Nah.
I haven't heard of it, bro. So it's kind of hard for me to give my opinion on something that
I don't know. What do you think? They spend millions of dollars and they never test the life support system? I mean, you're going to send a human? You don't think that's kind of stupid?
It's very, very stupid, bro. I've known a lot of smart idiots.
But we all know the Earth is flat. I mean, you just look at the airplane patterns. You're in Argentina and you have to fly all the way to Alaska and Japan to get to Australia. It don't make sense.
Yeah. All good, my bro. Thank you for calling and sharing that, man. We'll definitely look into that. I didn't know that.
All right, man.
Okay, my bro.
Yeah.
Good night.
Later.
Caller, your name and where are you calling from?
Hey, how's it going, Tony? It's me from Canada calling. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened.
We got a drop call, man. What's good?
Nothing. I just wanted to elaborate with one caller that called back about assisted suicide. That we got like commercials and stuff here.
Yeah, so is that true? Is that commercial playing over there?
You know what's the trick? Even if I'm watching like Rhodium Radio or any YouTube video, it pops up on like, you probably get advertisements there of like Walmart or whatever. We get that from the government of Canada pushing it.
Damn.
And what the trick is, I'm actually a superintendent of a building in a low income area in here in Canada, right?
Right.
And I started probably like 6 months ago, and I've already heard like enough like people in this building that like jumped off from like the 5th floor and like killed themselves, and like a bunch of like crazy stuff happened, usually due to like mental health. And now they're offering this stuff and they're really pushing it on people.
Wow.
It's ridiculous, man. Like I personally haven't heard anybody consider it. Sorry.
Yeah. I'm just speechless, bro, that this is actually real. You know, I have to see it myself, but this is, I mean, if that's the case, you know, then remember that guy, Dr. Death, that used to kill people in his truck or whatever?
Yeah.
Then he should be considered the hero in Canada. You know?
No, for sure.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what to think, bro. Like, honestly, obviously it's wrong, you know? I mean, can you imagine, just hypothetically say you or Marvelous, you had an elderly person in your family and they saw that nice comforting commercial and it's like, you know, what am I doing here for? What am I here for?
Yeah, bro. Yep.
You know, that could easily...
You know what the trip... Oh.
Go ahead.
Okay. Oh, sorry. You know what's the trip about this? I'm 28, right? I'm 28 years old. So when I was in grade 7, 13 years old or whatever age you are at, we used to do in school some things like for social studies. We'd do like, every month we'd get like a newspaper and we'd kind of like read up an article and like put that shit up for debate for the class. And this topic actually came up when I was in the 7th grade, and we're talking about assisted suicide, and do you believe it? Because there was a case of somebody that had like a terminal illness that they don't want to suffer, and they were just like, I just want to end it. I don't want to go through the whole process of like dying and painful and all that stuff. And it was weird that like you kind of like ask kids, what do you think? And there's a bunch of people like talking about like suicidal shit as a kid, and it's just like, what? Like thinking back about it, it was pretty twisted, right?
Yeah. Now you were in 7th grade.
Yeah, like I remember this vividly. We had to do like not an essay, but we had to like write a response to the article. Basically, like either we're supporting it or we're disagreeing with it.
Now, let me ask you this. Just a quick question. I guess when you were in school and you heard this, was there anybody your age that was supporting it?
You know what? There was a couple people that were just like, yeah, no, like if somebody was like dying and they were like suffering in bad pain, or they just didn't want to live anymore, and they'll do it and stuff. And recently, since right now the economy is going down, there's been stories of people. We don't have a White House. We have some shit called Parliament House. Some lady like stabbed herself or her baby or something like that in front of like the Prime Minister's house, you would say, just because she can't afford to live, and people are just finding that out just to not deal with all this shit going on.
Wow.
I wonder if they were doing this shit like in the Great Depression. I wonder if they were doing that.
You just never know today, bro.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, man.
Say I'm really enjoying the show. Yeah, man. God bless and take care, man. Have a good night.
You too.
You too, homie.
All right. Well, we got it from Canada. That it is plain over there. So let's go. Caller, your name and where you calling from?
Hey, what's up, Tom? Marvelous. It's Lars from West Texas.
Lars from West Texas. What's good, my bro?
Not a whole lot. Just enjoying the show. I wanted to ask y'all. There was a book that was made. It was written around the 14th, 15th century, and it made its way through collectors and eventually made it to America back in probably the early 1900s, and it's called the Voynich manuscript. Are either of you familiar with that?
I've heard of it, but I don't know what's in it, to be honest. But I have heard of it.
Okay, it looks to be like a botanical study of sorts, and I say of sorts because nobody can decipher it. It's in some kind of esoteric language that nobody's been able to decipher. And just as interesting are the illustrations inside the book. There are all kinds of strange plants and animals and stuff that nobody has identified as anything from this planet. What it looks to be is somebody's notes, or it was handwritten, and it looks to be like somebody's notes who was studying this kind of stuff. My question was for Marvelous, because he's touched on this before. If he has heard of this, does he think that this could be possibly belonging to like a lost civilization or an unknown civilization? And I'd like to hear his thoughts on that.
Yeah, I do, bro. While you're talking about it, I was actually the other day studying up on the continents that are after the Arctic Circle, that would be out that way, and that there's tribes or civilizations that only like 2 people have ever touched on, and those people like got killed so mysteriously. But I believe that yeah, heck yeah, man, that book could be from out that way, and I still do believe that there would be tribes that would be that like we don't know about them, and the same thing for them, they don't know about us. You know, I believe that there is other plant life or so-called extinct animals that are living over there that we haven't seen or whatever, or maybe that they were taken over there or whatever and killed off over here on this land.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, whether somebody's studying alchemy or cryptography or even just from a historical context, this is a very interesting book, and I think it really deserves to, you know, have an in-depth study of sorts to try and get that mystery solved, because it's a mystery, and there's a lot of stuff in there that nobody can explain. Like I said, the language in there is completely indecipherable, and nobody's been able to make heads or tails of it. So I thought I'd run that by you and see, because everything does point to something like an Atlantis situation, you know, where there was somebody thought a civilization existed, maybe it vanished, and then again, maybe it's a civilization that exists today that we're not aware of.
So, like in that movie, I'm sorry, bro, were you gonna say something?
No. I was just gonna ask you if you can repeat the name of that book so that other people can possibly do their own little study by Googling it and see what pops up.
Yes, it's called the Voynich manuscript.
Okay.
And it's named after that. That's not the author. The name was given to it by Wilfred Voynich. He was a Polish-American collector of literature in the early 1900s, and he's the one that kind of brought this to light. Historically, though, this book has supposedly been through several hands throughout history. I think even a Roman emperor owned it a few hundred years ago, and eventually it made its way here somehow. So yeah, it's called the Voynich manuscript, and you can look up, you know, these videos or studies of it online. I think they even have a reprint of it, if I'm not mistaken, that you can order and own for yourself.
Yeah, let me ask you a question, Ladis. Did you ever see that movie, The Ninth Gate? And I know this has something to do with a totally different topic.
It sounds familiar, but you might refresh my memory.
It's with Johnny Depp. It's like a book movie.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He's an author, so yeah, I remember it vaguely.
He's pretty much like a book investigator, finder, dealer, etc.
Right.
So he gets hired by, I guess, this multimillionaire to go to different parts of the world. I think it's in Europe or whatnot, to go look for these 3 books because in these 3 books, there's 3 pages in each book that were supposedly written by Satan. Okay. You being familiar with books and the stuff that you have told me, do you believe let me rephrase that question. Have you ever heard of supposedly books written by so-called Lucifer?
No, I haven't directly. I mean, I have no firsthand knowledge of anything like that. The other day, I believe somebody touched on some musicians that were supposedly in contact with the devil or made pacts with the devil in exchange for musical prowess or abilities. There was a blues singer named Robert Johnson who supposedly did that.
Correct.
Back in the 20s or 30s. But yeah, I'm familiar with the whole process of either the devil assisting somebody here on Earth with something, or passing on some kind of writing or knowledge directly to a human being. But no, I'm not directly familiar with any firsthand cases or anything that I could cite offhand anyway.
Okay.
But that is an interesting movie. I saw that a while back.
I really, really enjoy watching that movie. So anyways, bro.
Yeah.
Thank you for taking the time. And
okay. Hey,
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
one more thing. I got something really important to run by you, Tony.
Yes.
If you remember last night, I asked if you would ever have Kevin James on the show on Rhodium.
Yes, you said Kevin James. I thought you were talking about Jammin' James.
Yeah, Kevin Slow Jammin' James.
Oh, yeah, I had him here.
Oh, you have had him there before.
Yes. You know what? As a matter of fact, do you mind if I tell you what episode it was?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, give me 1 second. I'm going to look at it right now because yes,
Yeah.
I had him. We had a great time. Let me see. We talked a lot of old school stuff.
Yeah, well, he may not have remembered. He didn't tell me. I actually spoke to him on the phone earlier, and he said he'd like to come on. So, and he actually inboxed you on the Rhodium Radio website. So if you want to take a look at that, he'd like to come on, I guess, again. And we spoke earlier, and he said he'd be all for it.
Okay, I'm trying to find him right now. See if this is the same one we're talking about. Okay, he is episode 269. DJ Jammin' James Carter. Is that him?
Oh this is Kevin Slow Jammin' James from 92 The Beat.
Okay, we got a different Jammin' James in. Okay, we got it. Okay.
Yeah. This is the DJ. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he used to DJ the oldies show on 92 The Beat back in the day. And I had spoken to him earlier on the phone, and he said he'd love to come on the show. And he put all his contact info on the Rhodium Radio.
Okay.
Google, Gmail.
Yes, I'll definitely look into that, and we'll get him on.
Okay. Hell yeah. Well, hey, sounds good, and I'm enjoying the show, and thank you for taking my call, and thanks a lot, Marvelous, for shedding some light on this book that I mentioned. And again, that's the Voynich manuscript. Anybody interested can go check that out.
I appreciate you, bro. Thank you, homie.
Thank you.
All right. Talk to y'all later.
Later.
Somebody referenced in the comment section the movie The Red Violin. The Red Violin was a movie of I don't want to give up the whole story, but this violin was painted by the blood of his ex-wife, I believe, and passed down.
Caller, your name and where you calling from?
Hey, yo, what's good, you guys? It's me, Eddie from Pasadena once again.
Oh, shit.
How you guys been?
What's up, Eddie?
Eddie, yeah. Eddie, do you live by, I think I asked you this last time. Do you live by the hat?
Mm-hmm.
Do you live by the hat?
By the hat? No.
You know what I'm talking about, that fast food place where they sell the chili dogs, hamburgers?
Yeah. Talking about, I know the hat.
Okay.
I don't live by there.
Okay.
Huh?
No, I'm just saying every time I'm over there, that's where I stop.
Tony's going to start stalking you, homie.
Oh, you should go to Tops. That's a well-known burger joint in Pasadena.
Tops?
Have you ever visited? Yeah,
Okay.
Tops Burger.
I'll definitely have to try it.
Oh, all right. But anyways, what I wanted to ask you guys is, have you guys heard of serial killer Timothy McGee? Any of you guys?
Timothy McVeigh or Timothy McVeigh?
Timothy McGee.
Timothy McGee.
Oh, McGee, yeah, from the neighborhood over here.
Tunerville.
Yeah, he wasn't a serial killer though.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think he was a serial killer.
He was a killer?
Yeah, I don't think.
Oh, because when I scoped him out, like people labeled him as like a serial killer. That's why I was wondering if you guys are familiar with him.
Oh yeah, I've heard his story before.
No, I've never heard his story, so now I'm gonna have to look him up. And he's from out here. Marvelous.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, he's Atwater Village. There we go. A city in near Glendale. But yeah, he's been labeled as as one of the most notorious serial killers in the history of California, and he's from a gang and whatnot. But he's been known for like killing like witnesses who like seen him like do his like little jales here and there. That's what he's been known for, like just killing like just witnesses. And he's been like wanted from like back in the days, like from the late 1990s through the early 2000s.
Oh, okay. No.
But
yeah, I didn't know that, but I guess I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna look into that now.
Okay. But another thing I also wanted to ask, do you guys think deja vus are real? Like, do you think they have like a meaning?
I don't know too much about it, but I like to say, does a deja vu have a real meaning? I don't know, unless it's a glitch in the matrix. I have no idea, but you know what? I have experienced that before, and I've shared it here before. My last biggest one, Marvelous, was when I told you, I think I went to San Juan Capistrano, okay? And I was at a certain location, and it hit me that I said, I know I've been here before, and that was the first time I've ever gone. And I recognized everything of where I was at. So, and I said, let's walk down. There's a house that converted into a restaurant. And when I saw it, it freaked me out.
Damn.
I didn't want to go in there to eat.
Have you seen that movie, The Butterfly Effect?
I believe I
The
have.
Butterfly Effect.
Yeah, with Ashton Kutcher.
Oh, yes. Good movie.
Dope movie.
Yes.
The name, but I have not seen it.
Oh.
Yeah. So, thank you, man. I greatly appreciate that.
Oh, no problem. What was I saying? Actually, that was just about it. Like, I just wanted to ask you just those two quick little questions by any chance. And that was it. But yeah, like,
all good.
All for today. Hope you guys have a blessed one. And
yeah, you
it's
too,
cool
homie.
Talking to you guys.
You too, bro.
All right. Thanks.
Got it. Okay, let's keep it pushing. We got a couple more minutes, so let's try to get these calls in. Caller, your name and where you calling from?
How you doing? I'm calling from the East Coast.
What's up, my brother from the East Coast?
What's going on? I just wanted to share a couple dreams, probably a couple experiences, and wanted to see if y'all probably had an idea of maybe what the meaning is, because I kind of think a bit similar to the way y'all think. I also believe that dreams can have meanings. Probably not all dreams, but I do believe a lot of dreams have meaning. So, I've had three very similar dreams. The first one that I can remember was a couple of years ago. I had this dream where I live in a 3-apartment complex, right?
Yeah.
So I had a dream where there were like these two men. They're like white men, bald, like they had no hair. They were in a black suit, and it's like the dream was a whole focus on those two beings. And I remember that I was so fucking, excuse my language, I was like panicking because those two beings, I remember I was hiding from them along with a couple of my relatives because they had killed my cousins and whatnot, So I was, what was so freaky about that dream is that I remember in my own dream, dog, I was telling my own self to wake up, which is crazy because I've had dreams that are a lot more fucking scary where I've woken up, all, panicking and whatnot. And yeah, I had this dream of two men in black suits and I was, telling myself to wake up, And another dream I've had similar to that one was I was like, I don't know how to explain it, probably slave, captive by also a man, where I was trying to escape. It seemed like a place where that it had been destroyed, like ruins or it looked like it was destroyed, and I just wanted to see maybe what y'all think about that, what it can mean, because I know Marvelous, he knows a lot about our cultura indígena, and I know a lot of our indigenous people used to, talk about the dream because they believe that, maybe it was a vision, maybe it was a meaning, given by our creator. What do y'all think?
Well, I think about, the first one you're saying, it's about two white men, right?
Yeah.
And but you didn't say nothing else like to go along with it. And the other one you're saying about that you were like a kind of like a slave, or you're in some sort of captivity or something like that. Is that
yeah, they were both about, basically I was like in captivity, I was basically captivity, from that like one person, and it's just me trying to escape from that one person,
Mm-hmm. It can mean a lot of things, bro. I can't really decipher your dream for you, homie. Like, but I don't know if you're referencing like a white man for a certain reason, or maybe it's something like you're dealing with like with your inner self, how you feel like you're maybe there's a lot of racism where you stay out, or you're looked down upon, or maybe you're seeing a pecking order in the way we in society, how maybe the white man is above us or in some sort of way, or there's a lot of ways I can go about trying to decipher your dream of that.
Right.
Yeah, it's really hard.
One more thing. I had a question. So for Marvelous, do you know any I don't know, probably documentaries and the books that I could probably check out, when it comes to our culture. I've been trying to get into knowing my roots and all of that. I've been inspired by y'all, Marvelous, and I've been inspired by Tony to probably read more about the Bible. So I wanna know a little more.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's two different ones that you're gonna go on, but online I just found out that you can go through the East LA Library, and I referenced that, bro, like because it's online and you're not literally over here. So they have a big Chicano section, not just Chicano. I'm just saying indigenous. They on the Maya, the Mexica, the Inca, that you could reference books on that, and it depends what you want to know. If you want to know about speaking our language, not what. There's a gang of books on that. If you want to learn specifically about migration, I can't just say there's one specific book about everything.
Yeah.
Because there's a breakdown of certain things. That's why on everything, bro. So migration, not what. If you want to learn about cooking or remedies of healing, there's all kinds of stuff that you could go along with this. So there's not one specific book, but I would recommend that you look online, the East Los Angeles Library on culture, or I don't know if it's indigenous culture. It would be, I think that, or ethnic culture. I don't know if there's one by where you stay at, but I know, and over here where we live, there's a big ass, a lot of books to be referenced. As far as specific names, I can't give you anything unless I know exactly what you want to look up. But in a how do you say it? As a whole, just look up the East LA Library, homie, and maybe Origins of the Mexica. You could look up that. There's a book I can't reference right now, but look I have a good ass video you could check out, bro. What's your background, your ethnicity?
I'm Mexican. My mother's side, she's from there's a Puebla, and my father's side is from Mexico City.
Oh, okay, dope. Do you have my numbers on my Instagram? If you want to get it down, I don't know if you have Instagram, bro. On Marvelous Ink Tattoos, or Marvelous Ink _ tattoos, and my phone number's right there. And I'll send you a great video, homie, on the Mexica. And anybody that wants that video, I mean, I'll send it to you, bro.
Yeah, I think your Instagram is on the live chat, so you can see it there too.
Yeah.
So, thank you, my bro.
I'll give you a call.
All right.
I'll give you a call tomorrow. Thank you, Tony.
All right.
You got it, bro.
All right.
You got it. Okay, I got to call this one friend because he's been calling, and he says that he's got a story, Marvelous.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Hopefully he'll pick up. Let's see. One. Oh, God. The calls won't stop coming in, so. Okay, let me see. Let me call real fast. Okay, here we go. Hello,
Tony.
Javier. This is a good friend of mine, Marvelous.
Nice to meet you, homie.
What's up, Marvelous? So yeah, I'm gonna break this down into detail for the people that stay in the South Bay. So you there?
Yeah, we're listening.
All right. So I'm coming out of the Torrance Crossroads. For people that are familiar with the South Bay, I'm coming out of Bonds. I look in the sky and I see a helicopter. So I'm like, wow, what's a helicopter doing over here in Lomita? Or, right across the street is Torrance. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm heading that way. So I'll see what's going on. It's about half a mile or whatnot. And so I'm driving. I see it. still there, put in the air. So I was like, okay. Driving. Finally, about half a mile down, I'm underneath it. I look up, don't see no cops, don't see anything. But what I see is going to trip everybody out. I see an airplane stuck in the air. An airplane stuck in the air, man. You know, I said, nah. I stuck my head out, saw it, trying to get everybody around me to look at it, stuck in the 4 p.m. traffic. Nobody seems to be looking up. I'm like pointing up. Nobody's looking. The fucking plane was stuck in the air, you know? I said, okay. I made a right off of Pennsylvania, the small street in Lomita, 2-way street. I need to pull over so I could videotape it, because if I take a picture, nobody's going to believe me. Nobody. So as I'm driving, I'm like, damn, traffic all behind me. I finally make it half a block down, pull over, get out, gone. So, all right, well, you know what? I know what I saw. I definitely know what I saw. I don't do dope, do none of that shit. So that's out of the question. So then called a couple of people, my brother and close friend of mine, told them, yeah, they believe me. They believe me right away. So my brother tells me it's a different dimension. And it's funny because you just said a glitch in the matrix.
Right.
And I've seen videos like that on YouTube, TikTok, and I thought it was just bullshit. But until I witnessed it, I still can't even believe it. Now, the twist to the story is the following day, about, 11 a.m., my brother texts me an article in the, I think it was Daily Brief. Plane crashed in Torrance Airport, exactly where I was at. And it wasn't that exact plane. I'm not going to say, because you know how your mind starts playing tricks on you and say, yeah, it's that plane. But no, I'm not going to say it was that plane. But it's those small mom and pop 2-seater planes you take around the Pacific coast and all that, you know, enjoy a flight, I guess.
Assessment.
But yeah, it was a 2-seater airplane that I saw stuck in the air. My brother says it's from other dimensions. I don't know nothing about that, but I thought it was bullshit until I witnessed it myself. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and let you go. If you guys want to give your thought on it, so be it. But this call was more for the viewers, because I want to see if anybody has witnessed something like that, and if they could call in, or maybe call in the next episode. That'd be cool. I want to hear more about it.
Okay, just hold on a second, because if he wants to share something and you hang up, we're just going to get another phone call. So I saw you nod your head when you said he saw a plane standing still. Have you heard of something?
I've seen it.
Okay.
Yeah, I've seen it myself. But you could go on YouTube and there's crazy people are uploading videos. They've been doing it. The first time I seen it was about like 10 years ago.
What do you think it is? How do you explain that?
Man, there's so many different things that I could say, but I honestly believe that, like, for the bigger planes that have been on video, I think it's a part of Project Bluebeam. You know, these holograms that the military uses and shit. But I don't know for what reason they're using it, or why would they use that, you know. Right. But I do believe that. Others say it could be just like we have currents in the ocean, that there's currents of wind in the atmosphere that it gets stuck, or the plane, like, I guess the wind is pushing so hard that the plane is at a standstill. Yeah. I mean, I don't get that, how that would be possible either.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, and then there's what he referenced, you know, another parallel reality.
Right. Okay.
Well, to add to your story, Marvelous, my mother told me that, and my son told me that as well. I was like, okay, I'm gonna take that into consideration. Okay, you ever go somewhere like a high mountain or cliff, or let's say a pier, and you see a bird just gliding in the same position, right? He's not still,
right?
He's gliding. He's gliding up and down sideways, but in the same position. Yeah, the plane wasn't the same. The plane was stuck.
Right.
It was not gliding.
Right.
And it was tilted like in a 45-degree angle. Nah, man. You know?
Yeah. Well, you saw something that very few people see, so I'm going to have to investigate that myself. So, all right. Thank you, man.
Yeah, no problem, man.
All right, we'll talk soon. Okay, let's keep it going. We got like 6 more minutes. So we got like 6 more minutes. So who wants to go? Okay, we got a call right here. Okay, we missed like 7 calls, but callers, right now you got time if you want to squeeze it in. Squeeze it in.
Norbies.
Okay, here we go. Caller, your name and where are you calling from?
What's up, bro? It's Barry from Washington.
I can barely hear you. Sound muffled, bro.
Straight from Washington.
Okay. All I heard was Washington. What's good, bro? You got a question or a story?
Yeah, I've actually seen that too. The fucking the plane staying still.
Yeah.
So I guess they shut off the engines, bro. I had a homie that was booked and shit. They said that they were watching them from the plane, like a helicopter, pretty much. You know, watching them.
Yeah.
So I guess they can do that. They can just like glide and shit. It looks like they're still, but they're really not. They're just moving really slow and shit. Crazy shit, bro. I've seen it before myself. I was tripping out on it, but I guess that's all it is, really.
I mean, that's a good explanation. I mean, but yeah, you know, I mean, I can't say nothing
Yeah,
about
because they
it.
were taking pictures from the plane, watching them around and shit, you know?
Okay. All right. Yeah, I think.
Hey, and for Marvelous, hey, bro.
What's up, homie?
Hey, you fucking, you ever fuck with shrooms or what, dog?
Nah, everybody asks me that, man. If I do that and that I should try it, that I probably trip out even more. But I'm like, nah, I don't do no dope, bro. Mm-mm.
But why, dog?
I just don't want to, homie. Like I don't want to chance nothing. I don't want to chance none of that, bro. I've had homies that have smoked PCP and they never came back. You know, and I'm just like, I'm cool. You know,
Bro, but that's that's different though, dog. Fuck, the shrooms way, they fucking hit you perfect, bro.
I think that
like, you see shit, bro, like that.
Mm-hmm.
You come through like an understanding with life, bro. It's fucking insane, dog.
Yeah.
It's all good, bro. I'll just
Yeah,
stick
you gotta
to
do single though.
I'll just stick to liquor.
Yeah, it's liquor. That's cool though too and shit. Hey, but if you ever do try, bro, fuck, mix that shit with some acid, bro. You'll be good, homie.
Hell no.
Damn. You said mix that with some acid.
Yeah, dog. That's how you do it, dog. Shit.
Shoot, dude, I never even tried pop rocks with a soda, so I'm not gonna try none of that shit.
Hey.
Oh yeah, the other one I was gonna talk. I was gonna talk about. My bad, homie. The other one I was gonna talk about was the birds. Those videos have been going viral of the pigeons and different birds that they've been not killing, but shooting out the air, and they're not real birds. They're drones.
Okay, we'll talk about that next time.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, caller. Appreciate that, homie.
All right, bro. You guys have a good night.
All
right,
homie.
He said shrooms with
acid. Yeah.
Okay, we'll talk about that next time.
Yeah, I don't want to do none of that shit.
Alex, por favor. Last call right here. Caller, your name and where you calling from. You are the last caller.
What's up, man? This is Ricardo from Hawaiian Garden.
Ricardo for Hawaiian Gardens. How you doing tonight, man?
Pretty good. Just right here chilling, listening to you guys' show.
Thank you, man. Thank you for taking the time and calling in.
Yeah, what's up, man? I just wanted to share something real quick. You guys were talking about reincarnation earlier, the little boy.
Yes.
Yeah, I just wanted to share a story that I heard on the Mexican Mano Peluda. Some guy called in and he started talking about his little son. He was saying that his little 7-year-old son, was different from the other his kids, and that he was an adult in a little boy's body, and he started telling his parents that he had a past life and that he died and that he was from the late 1800s, and he took his parents back to his tomb and all that, and they were all just tripping out, and that's all I wanted to share.
Wow. Okay. Well, you know what? So obviously there's other people out there that have those kind of stories, you know? So, no, but I thank you for calling and sharing that, bro. Thank you for taking the time. You were our last caller tonight.
Hey, can I ask a quick question real quick?
Yes, sir.
For Marvelous?
Yeah, what's up, homie?
What's up, Marvelous? Hey, so I've been doing my little bit of research on the whole Issachar tribe and how there are people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I'm having a hard time understanding how the Aztecs started to do sacrifices. Like, where did they start learning? Where did they get that from?
Well, during one of our captivities, I mean, that was done by our captivity. That was done under some of the Canaanite giants or Nephilim giants that were integrated into our tribes. I mean, so these giants or these races that were a hybrid race that were from the fallen angels, kind of manipulated their way into all the tribes that were like from, I guess, I don't what do you call those oh my god, what's the name of that tribe? You know, the ones that look like from Samoa, them. Ours, the Inca, the Maya, even the Asian tribes, they're found scattered all over the world, bro. And they manipulated their ways. That we looked up to them as a higher power. As they were able to do things that we couldn't do, and they were stronger. You know, they were bigger than us. And we believed in all the shit that they did by the stuff that they showed us that they did. You know, if you have a magician in front of you that's doing certain shit and saying, here, drink this blood or do this, you know, are we gonna sit there and not believe them? You know, it's kind of manipulates us to fucking believing that shit. You know, like, damn, okay, this fool does have a power. Where's he getting it from? Or maybe I should do that too. Maybe that's really what I should sacrifice this kid to, or this young person to. Maybe I should really try that blood. Maybe it would really make my stem cells grow faster. Maybe it'll really stop me from aging. You know, so these people try all this shit, and then it becomes a form of addiction, where they believe that they gotta do it, you know, and that's passed down to generation to generation to generation. And today you got raza or different ethnicities doing rituals that they don't even know what the fuck they're doing. They have no idea.
Yeah.
Okay, man. Oh, thank you. I appreciate your time. Taking the time to answer this question.
Yeah, homie.
Okay. Have a blessed night, homie.
All right.
All right. And that was the last caller. So, all right.
I don't know if anybody's seen on the live chat. I put the link of a video that shows about our story of the Mexica. If anybody clicks on, I don't know if you could click on that link. I seen it didn't show in blue, but I try to post it up if anybody wants to type that in and look up that video.
Okay, at this time, do we have anything you guys want to share as far as the live chat? Okay. Go ahead. You guys ready?
I'll make sure these are perfect, homie. So
exactly right here.
Okay, Chargers 420 dropped 199. He said, hell yeah, Marvelous is back.
Thank you.
Raul Martinez dropped 199. He didn't say nothing, but he just dropped.
Thank you.
Raul Martinez dropped 499. He said, what do you and Marvelous think about Neil deGrasse and the Big Bang Theory? deGrasse.
Well, you know, I don't believe in the Big Bang Theory, and I know Neil deGrasse Tyson or something like that. He's an atheist. So to me, look, I'm just going to be honest with you. When somebody's an atheist and they claim to be a scientist, many of them are just going to go ahead and believe that this all came from a Big Bang. You know, like I said, I believe the guy is an intelligent guy, but I believe sometimes, like I said, Marvelous, I've met smart idiots. Mm-hmm. You know, I think some of the smartest people, and this is the truth, I've met not only a lot of smart idiots, but I met a lot of intelligent people that didn't even have common sense. Mm. Okay, so I'm not saying this about this individual. I just don't believe the way he believes. So.
Okay, Chris Merrill dropped, Chris Morrill, I guess that's how you say it. He dropped $50. He said, Tony A. the Wizard, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you too. Thank you very much. We greatly appreciate it, Carnal.
That's it.
Okay. Other than that, Marvelous, you want to give a shout out? Anything? We had a good night tonight. I really, really, really enjoyed it. We got back on track, and I had fun.
Just shout out to my kids again. Love you guys. My son just had his daughter, so my grandbaby. That's it. I love you guys, and thanks to the team, good team, and thank you for having me on the show again.
Congratulations on your son and your brand new granddaughter. Mm-hmm. My granddaughter will be here, I believe, in February.
That's right.
So it's awesome. That will be my fourth grandchild, and it's an amazing, amazing an amazing feeling, and it's a gift, and it's a blessing.
Yep.
You know, for me to be able to see the next generation, and I'm raising them and being instrumental in their lives, and playing with them and talking to them and loving them and educating them and protecting them. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing, and it's a blessing that most people don't ever get to a chance to experience it. So other than that, I'm going to give a shout out to my team. Once again, Norbert, everybody knows them as Norbies. Okay, I'm going to give a shout out to him. You guys got to be subscribed to rhodiumradio@gmail.com. I'm sorry, Rhodium Radio on YouTube. Rhodium Radio on YouTube, because we never promote News with Norbies. We just go live. So when you guys subscribe to Rhodium Radio, or should I say my Tony Vision page, hit the notification bell button, because we give you guys 10 minutes to log in so you guys can start with us, because we start fast. And we give the ghetto news from an unprofessional perspective. Okay? So I also want to give my boy Alex Cervantes Enterprise. Once again, if you guys need a smog fix, legally or illegally, hit him up. And transmissions, okay? He's got the he's got the chop shop. So other than that, also want to give a shout out to my son B. Scanlon for helping me promote this. And the Hip Hop Jedi, we'll be back next week. Most likely, we'll be back next week. But in between then, and in between time, Sunday I'll be on my other podcast with another special guest. We'll be going live with News of Norbies. I'm not going to tell you guys when. You got to subscribe. And then on Wednesday, another special guest, Calls with the Wizard on that one. We just got everything lined up. So heading into the new year with a bang. So other than that, Marvelous. Muchas gracias. Thank you so much for sharing.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Oh,
go ahead.
Okay. Blevin Jones dropped $1.99. He said Mr. Crawley, and then Ozzy Osbourne. That's all.
Mr. Crawley, Ozzy Osbourne. That was a song by Ozzy that he wrote for Mr. Crawley. You know, so it's a creepy song, but you know, there it is there. So then Memo Juarez, 1999. Muchas gracias, Memo Juarez. Much love, much respect to you, carnal. Truly appreciate you guys. Okay. So now with that being said, expect the unexpected. We're out of here. Much love to everybody on the live chat. Much love to everybody that called in. Much love to everybody who had fun with us. Stay blessed. Share, like, comment, subscribe. We're out of here. We'll see you guys next week.